This painting is awkwardly entitled Ancestral Pandemic Survivors because the next step in my processing of the pandemic was to turn to my ancestors, and I looked to them to see how they survived the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic.
G'day, my name is Leanne Shawler and I'm a creative who paints and writes fiction. I invite you to experience this soul-deep painting and immerse yourself in contemplating beauty while hearing the story behind it and while viewing the painting. Soul Deep is my free gift to you.
I thought that by painting them, I would recall how they survived and be reminded that too, I could survive this particular pandemic as well. To be honest, we never had a conversation about the 1918 Spanish flu with any of my ancestors. So I have no idea if their community was not impacted in a big way or if they were just lucky. I collected photos of my great-great-grandparents, great-grandparents, a variety of distant cousins, and my husband's grandparents. I spent the spring and summer of 2020 sketching portraits, including a series of tonal studies of these photographs, and then painted a few on woodboard. One of them was spectacularly awful. But by brilliant accident, I drew two of them onto pre-painted backgrounds in my journal, and I really liked how part of the face stood out while other parts receded into the background. This painting also called to be on a wood substrate, even though I knew I probably wouldn't take such a painting home to Australia. But the painting needed the raw wood edge to be visible and to be soft, warm wood, not the bright white of canvas. And after all that preparation, I painted it in just 3 days in September of 2020. For a first layer of prayer, I glued down torn pieces of pages from an old commentary on the Psalms. As Psalms are songs you can pray from the heart, this felt appropriate. The blues and greens are colors of healing, and through them peek parts of my ancestral faces, seen here in a mock-up as I worked out where to place each partial portrait. My great-grandmother, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, his specs were cool, my husband's grandparents. Once again, being able to paint out my feelings regarding the pandemic helped me to process them and to move a step forward. And in this case, the painting reminded me that I would survive, hopefully, this pandemic as my ancestors survived theirs. Even though just recently the United States passed the 750,000 mark for lives lost to the COVID-19. I chose to paint partial faces because this took a toll on them as well. They were not the people they were before the Spanish flu pandemic started. So there were questions that ran through my mind and might be running through yours as you take a closer look at this painting. What was it like for them? Were they allowed to go out as children and play, or did they have to stay inside too? How was their work affected if they were older? And what rituals have survived their Spanish flu pandemic and that they lived with for the rest of their lives? And yet they lived long enough to see children, grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren be born into this world. So they lived. My hope remains over a year after I completed this painting, because I did this in September 2020, and it's now November 2021, that we will all manage to survive this pandemic too. And that even if there are gaps from loved ones, family, and friends who we've lost to this disease, that in some ways we will continue to live, both for their memories and for our own, even in this new normal way. And that is my prayer for all of us. Next is a series of images from the painting, which will give you a chance to see for yourself any images or marks to reflect and respond to this painting. What stirs in you as you look at this painting? Here are some questions to consider. I have them in the description too, if you need to refer to them during this reflective part of the video. What in the painting resonated most for you? Or in the creation of the painting? Which of your ancestors survived the 1918 flu pandemic? What would they teach you now if they could? Where is your story in the painting? I would like you to take a few moments now to ground yourself and bring yourself into the present moment. And we're going to do that by taking just a few deep, solid breaths. So if you like to close your eyes, you may do that. Otherwise, let's get started. So we breathe in
Hold it at the top. Sigh it all out. Breathe in. Hold it. And sigh it all out. Feel your body's weight against the couch or the chair or wherever you might be sitting. Breathe in. Hold it at the top. Sigh it out. Just becoming present to where you are right now. What did you see? Share in the comments below. Did you find anything new? Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications when the next Soul Deep video goes live. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon on this soul deep journey.